I spent my day yesterday literally riding roller coasters in an amusement park, but it seems that the crypto world and markets were doing exactly the same. Bitcoin finally broke support, broke the range lows, and there was depression across the market until the big bounce when we saw that it was a sweep of the lows and price fully recovered the day's losses and more. Let's take a look at all the charts and news driving the markets and see if this is truly a reversal or just a reactionary bounce. Let's go. What is up, everybody? I'm Scott Melker, also known as the Wolf of All Streets. Before we get started, please go ahead, hit the subscribe button and hit the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel, like my videos so that you don't miss them in the future. As I said yesterday, absolute mayhem and carnage with price breaking below 29,000 just before creating that long, huge wick down, closing back up in the range, making new patterns and making the chart look a hell of a lot prettier than it did just hours before. Let's take a look at those charts now and the news and see if we can discern what is happening. Now, once again, guys, we have the daily Bitcoin chart here. As you can see, nothing has changed in regard to bullishness, which requires a break, in my opinion, above this 42,000 level. But that said, we had that sort of symmetrical triangle now formed by the top of this channel and this blue line. Price ultimately broke down, making a lower low, but it closed back above support incredibly, absolutely closing the day with this beautiful daily hammer candle right here. And that formed this perfect ascending channel. That is not a bear flag. I see people calling it a bear flag. A bear flag has to be an ascending channel. A descending channel should statistically break to the upside and to the top of that channel, which would take us above 42,000 if that happens. But you can see price is struggling right now with the EQ of that descending channel, this dash line right here, which is the 50% level. And so we got to get above that to target the top, which would be around 40,000. That would be the path to get us back up there. But absolutely incredible price action. We had significant volume on the drop 2 days ago, but bigger volume on the recovery. And both of those are the largest volume basically that we've had since the major dump and the reaction to that. Pretty incredible. Now we have this descending channel, somehow held the support, and the resistance that's descending here is still the same, with 42 being the key level above. Let's take a look at that trading range on the 4-hour. As you can see, we dropped down to around 30,000 just about a month ago. We were saying that we wanted to see that hold, and even when it dropped here, here, and here, we discussed, well, if it drops below, what we want to see is a huge wick, a major reaction down there, and a close back up in the range. Not only did it close back in the range, it also closed above the support at 31,107, holding that absolutely incredible. That makes a bullish SFP off of this swing low again after this one, and a bullish SFP off of this swing low from here as well, sweeping the range lows, closing back in, and now obviously targeting at least the EQ of the range around 36,000. Incredible price action, in my opinion. Now, what is a bullish SFP? That is a swing failure pattern. It also happens at the top. That is when you see these major wicks below a previous swing low, but then a close above. This is an indication that whales or players in the market are engineering liquidity. What does that mean? It means that when you get below here, you have a ton of people who are likely to either short the breakdown or who are stopping out. That's where they have their stop losses set from their longs, right? And so what do all of those become? Shorts are sell orders, and stop losses on longs are also sell orders. So if you're a whale and you want to find liquidity and buy a lot of Bitcoin, you actually push the price down into that level, causing all of those shorts and stops to trigger, which gives you tons of liquidity to buy, and price rockets straight up. You can see, as I even said myself on this daily candle the day before, wow, I'm starting to get exhausted. I'm starting to question myself. I'm starting to feel a little emotional about this market. Well, imagine what happens when you're starting to finally feel emotional. I said that's usually when price reverses. Well, as predicted, the next day, price went down. Tons of people probably got extremely depressed here, exited their positions, or tried to short. And that's what happens. This is what the whales do to manipulate you and to manipulate the market. As I said 2 days ago, we had this descending blue resistance. Well, now we've broken it, retested it as support, and seem to be heading up. Absolutely incredible price action. The next area to watch is around 36,000. If that flips, we'll be targeting these 40,000 area right above. And Also, as discussed here on the daily chart, absolutely beautiful, massive bullish divergence that we've had building for absolute ages, and it finally confirmed once again after having bull divs and hidden bear divs and bull divs. This is a beautiful bullish divergence coming out of oversold. This should eventually target overbought, which could be a way to bring us back up to those resistances around 40,000, 42,000, something like that. You can also see that we have another bullish divergence right here. That is a higher low and a lower low on price. Drilling into the 4-hour, also had bullish divergence, oversold on the 4-hour chart and other multiple time frames. Absolutely beautiful. We've seen that this has gone from overbought to oversold, should be heading back to overbought. That could also be bringing us up, but still not time to get fully exuberant yet because there is still a lot of resistance ahead. But if ever you wanted to see a major reaction at the bottom of a range or to see a super bounce, absolutely beautiful hammer candle on major volume bouncing up. So that's what I'm looking for on Bitcoin. I still want to see us clear 42,000. Very likely that we'll range for a while between 30 and 40 again. But that was a beautiful recovery from that drop and should indicate a bottom. That does not mean it is the bottom, but everything about that looks like a bottom, which could be the bottom. Now let's dig into all the news that's driving the markets right now. First, Bitcoin futures open interest drops more than half in 2 months. The Arcane Research report says this downward trading indicates institutional investors are being cautious at the moment. Yeah, I think it's very clear that most institutional investors who are thinking about Bitcoin are probably sitting on the sidelines and waiting to see what happens. That is what it would indicate here, that open interest on places like the Chicago Mercantile Exchange is down. We also see that 3-month futures in Bitcoin are in backwardation, meaning that there's an expectation that price will be lower in 3 months than higher. We've talked about many times the cash and carry trade that existed for a long time that a lot of institutions were taking care of, which is when futures are in contango, meaning that the future expectation or futures prices are higher and you can buy spot and short that future. And then as it decays, you basically make guaranteed money as an income trade. Well, that is not the case when you have backwardation, which is sometimes viewed as a bearish sign. Bottom line, a lot of caution, a lot of people sitting on the sidelines waiting to see what will happen. From my friend Mike McGlone at Bloomberg, who sends out just incredible reports on a regular basis, Bitcoin's 30,000 line in the sand, similar to 4,000 in 2019 and 2020, selling Bitcoin around good support and similar dips below most means as about 30K this year hasn't ended well. And if the key question this time around is whether it's different, we see a more enduring bull market. Bottom line, just like you said, when we saw March 2020 price dip below 4,000, immediately bounced almost back to 6,000. Sort of a similar reaction here on 30,000 as support. So the way that we just saw that reaction, we would expect 30,000 to hold. And every time that area has been tested just above it, we've seen a major bounce. This is an interesting story. Polkadot on Coinbase went up more than 70% in the midst of a crypto market sell-off. DOT was one of the day's biggest winners. No. This was an error on Coinbase's part. If you look at DOT on any other exchange, it absolutely did not go up. I do not understand what the story is or what happened, but here it says, Polkadot, the token for the smart contract blockchain of the same name, rose by more than 70% in just 4 hours on US-based crypto exchange Coinbase. However, the price on other exchanges followed the larger market sell-off. Here in a quote, a spokesperson from Coinbase told CoinDesk the team is currently investigating what happened and said the price discrepancy of DOT between Coinbase and other major exchanges is likely due to the send and receive function being disabled as part of the incident. Once again, a reminder that crypto infrastructure is still subpar, even on an exchange like Coinbase that is trading publicly on the stock market. Bitcoin likely to be range bound after rebound from 29K. The market looks to have digested most negative news during the recent sell-off from 41,000 to 29,000, one analyst said. I think that that's a fair assumption, something that I actually said. It looks like we've found a bottom, but we still need to get above 41,000 for there anything to be meaningful. So yes, we're basically ranging from 41,000 to 29,000 now until we break above that range. To me, it's more around 42,000. Now, speaking of institutional investors who are not sitting on the sidelines, Cathie Wood bought the dip. ARK Invest acquired 1 million shares of GBTC and 214,718 shares of Coin yesterday. Cathie Wood bought the dip hard. And now it says this ARK fund has a big Bitcoin stake. It's rising even as the currency falls. That is how Chads do it. Senator Loomis also said yesterday in an interview that she was buying the dip at 29,000, was excited that price had dropped down. As of Tuesday, The ARK fund had a 3.6% weight or 207 million worth of shares in the GBTC, a closed-end fund holding Bitcoin in custody for its shareholders. The ETF also had a 3.3% weight or 189 million worth of shares in the cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase Global. She is not only buying GBTC, which is based on the underlying asset of Bitcoin, although with a premium or a discount at certain times, but also buying Coinbase as a picks and shovels approach. 300 million. Blockchain Capital raises new fund with backing from PayPal and Visa. Blockchain, the long-running VC firm focused on the crypto space, has closed a new fund with $300 million in backing. Clearly, there's still major investment happening in the crypto world, but here's what I love. In a Tuesday statement, Blockchain Capital described the raise as heavily oversubscribed and backed by strategic investors, pension funds, major university endowments, and family offices from around the world, including also Visa and PayPal. What's notable here is that we have not really seen university endowments and pension funds and the huge wall of money that has major due diligence come into the crypto space by buying Bitcoin, which we've been looking for. But clearly they are investing in the underlying companies, the picks and shovels, once again, that I mentioned, and are interested in the crypto space. So when we see something like an ETF, you can almost guarantee that these same people will be buying Bitcoin in that manner. Bitcoin hash rate drops by nearly 50% following China's mining crackdown. Absolutely astounding. China is really going for it, legitimately cracking down to allay environmental concerns and to lower their carbon footprint. This has left Chinese miners either scrambling to make a quick decision, some of them having to break down all their equipment in under 2 weeks and get out, and some of them apparently are just drinking away their sorrows and coping in disbelief. But what you can see here is that Bitcoin hash rate has declined by nearly 50% in over a month. And this is because of both the China crackdown, but also the price of Bitcoin dropping. We've seen already, I believe there was a story, 3 metric tons of mining rigs being shipped to Maryland in the United States, and one pool, the 5th in the world, already moving to Kazakhstan. So they're reacting fast. We will see this hash rate recover, and we will, in the end, see more clean and renewable Bitcoin mining and decentralization from China, which was at about 65% of all Bitcoin mining last year, now is sub 50%, which is good. And finally, the crypto fear and greed index was at 10 yesterday. Now it's at 14. We are still at extreme fear. When we're extreme fear, usually price goes up and whales take advantage of that fear to take money out of scared retail's hands. Guys, that is all the news. I will be live today at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for my weekly Chartapalooza. I hope you guys choose to tune in. I take requests from my paid newsletter subscribers. You can join that by signing up down in the description. Not all bad news, guys. Beautiful bounce yesterday. So at 2 o'clock, we'll take a look and see if it's followed through. Peace.